Welcome back, guys. I wanted to share some potential news on a company we follow closely. The name of the company is Twitter. It's CEO Jack Dorsey, from what I'm hearing from a number of different people familiar with the situation, expected to announce that he will be stepping down as the company's CEO in the near term. I don't know much else, and so we will see the market react to this potential news. But unfortunately, at this point, it's not clear to me, based on my reporting, whether or not Mr. Siegel, the longtime CFO, will step in, or whether an outside candidate has been brought in. There's been no shortage of rumors about potentially Mr. Dorsey, who, remember, helms two companies, both Square and Twitter, as their CEOs, would step down from a position he took over 6+ years ago when Dick Costolo stepped down. Remember, Dorsey, of course, one of Twitter's founders. Then he was CEO for a period of time. Then he stepped down. Then he came back as interim in, let's call it, I think it was October of 2015. And now I'm told, again, by people familiar with the situation, that he is expected to announce that he will be stepping down again as CEO. Unclear whether that will be immediate once it is announced or perhaps at the end of the year. There had been pressure brought to bear on him from Elliott for some time. Remember when they had some board seats? They no longer do. But Jesse Cohn, of course, who runs activism at the large hedge fund, Elliott had potentially indicated that he was looking for, at least there was reporting to this extent, a replacement for Mr. Dorsey, particularly when he had announced that he would be moving to Africa. That did not happen, in part because of the pandemic. And that's where we stand, guys. So, you know, I know you have a long relationship with Ned Siegel.
Sure, I was with him quite a bit.
Trying to get comment from Mr. Siegel.
Yeah, let's see if we can't get him.
And try and get a little more on this story. You can see now Twitter shares responding positively. Again, the stock itself has not done particularly well over. You know, it's hanging in there, Jim, but it's not been a star performer. There have been those who say it's simply underwhelms in terms of the things they could do with the platform and the power of the platform. I'll leave that to others at this point. We do know that Mr. Dorsey and Square have been nothing but success with that company. I mean, obviously, again, you know it quite well, having exceeded $100 billion market value, a bit below that right now.
I mean, when you have them on, I think it's worth pointing out, how does it matter? Does it matter much who we have on? If it did, then Amrita Ahuja, who's just an amazing CFO, incredible at Square, it would be an easy replacement if that ever happened. We obviously not going there. Will Ned get it? Ned Siegel. Well, Ned spends a huge amount of time, basically day to day.
Yeah.
And I think he'd be sensational. But I will say this: the idea that the stock should be up 5 because Jack leaves, which therefore obviously means David. People think there'll be a bidder. David, I don't know. I
don't know either.
I don't see a natural bidder at all.
I am not, have not been picking that up. Because,
but that's the reaction.
To your point, Jim, I think you're dead on. That many people believe, if in fact he were to step down, that it would increase the likelihood, perhaps, that Twitter would look for some sort of a deal. Now, that is not what I'm hearing.
Right. Okay, good.
What I am hearing is an expectation that, in the near term, at least, Mr. Dorsey will say that he is stepping aside. Now, by the way, exec chairman is Omid Kordestani, so, you know, unclear again. Right. Don't have as much as I would like, frankly, but we are sharing this with you at this point. And certainly we'll update as we move along today in the hopes that we will be getting more clarity on this situation.